I can't say that I have an actual feeling of transition. I don't feel like there's a click or somebody flipped a switch. It's just there. It's
It
just
is
there,
there.
and it's like a really nice, calm, quiet place.
But once you take the TDU out of your mouth and you continue, there are no impulses anymore.
No, nothing is there, but it feels.
That's something
Same.
that we did not expect, and we really have to work on what the brain mechanisms are. That's fascinating because she's getting not only a substitution but a therapeutic effect, and we really have to examine that. That's so exciting that we should. I feel like jumping up and down about it, but I want to also know why, and that's something we don't know yet.
This is a proposal for the establishment of perception and proprioception as fundamental to the understanding of how all brainport technologies interact with humans. It is based on the work of James J. Gibson, whose insights led Paul Bach-y-Rita to the invention of their forerunner half a century ago. Even before birth, all organisms are actively engaged in perception and proprioception, since they are reciprocal polar ends of each other, perception being oriented to the external environment, whereas proprioception relates to the body. As the embryo matures, its developing senses are evolving capacities that will ultimately serve to explore perceptual information as it is encountered in tactile, optical, auditory, or vestibular energy formats. Some of these will vary in time, while others will remain invariant. However, the perceptive proprioceptive process is already capable of detecting differentiations between energy variance and invariance, creating a collective, dynamic real-time core process from them that monitors and responds to those it has already detected. In doing so, this core process has created the organism's sense of agency that emerges at birth as a fully independent proprioceptive self, an embodied sentient being fully aware of its environment, which includes natural as well as socially and culturally generated forms of energy. Its mission now becomes the formulation of self-meaning through the detection of all sensory stimuli and responding or learning how to respond to them accordingly through action. To underscore, the mission is not based on what might be interpreted as a series of reflexive responses to encountered stimuli. It is based on an ongoing act of attention. The proprioceptive self's innate first act is to transform that core process into movement by virtue of its real-time relationship with its body. From the intake of its first breath, movement is essential to the organism's survival. In this scene of a surfer interacting with a challenging environment, we can now discern how what we've been calling perception, proprioception, and action are in actuality one seamless interaction between him and his surroundings in real time. Moreover, we can see that the surfer's proprioceptive self, which includes his self-awareness of his own presence in the event, is functioning optimally, meaning the ongoing differentiations between variance and invariance in the surrounding energies are being skillfully transformed into appropriate tactile kinesthetic movements. It should be noted that athletes performing at similarly optimal levels have often reported that what appears to contribute to those performances is a seeming slowing down of time and the disappearance of so-called mind-body separation. Watching the surfer, we may also begin to sense that the key to the entire dynamic process is what may be our most underrated and misunderstood attribute. Although obvious in its existence, it remains semantically indefinable. The English word used to identify it is attention. Attention is the core mechanism that drives perception, proprioception, while simultaneously coalescing all other physical and psychological capacities that are equally foundational to the ongoing learning process or attunement of the proprioceptive self. When a prosthetic is introduced into the process, be it a cane or a surfboard or a brainport technology, the proprioceptive self responds as it does to all invariants encountered in its environment. It actively determines if it can be used to its benefit or detriment and attunes itself accordingly by directing attention to it. As it adapts to the affordances offered by the prosthetic, a re-education of attention takes place. This brings about a redistribution and consequent revitalization of attention's capacities throughout the organism, perhaps even at the thalamocortical level, with varying residual effects based on the degree and depth of the attention re-educating process. Although the proprioceptive self's limitations in its relationship through attention re-education to human-machine interfaces like the cane and the surfboard have been known for millennia, we have just begun to explore its relationship limitations to brainport technologies. But according to our preliminary research, it appears to be open-ended, and perhaps, like the source of attention itself appears to be, limitless.